Hi, I'm Kiara Bailey, and this is Getrichasfuck. So some of you are living your lives in captivity and you don't even know it. New blog up on the site, day 14,558 of captivity. And I'm sure you're wondering, like, what is that even? So I'm almost 40 and yeah, like still living in captivity. Most of us are. And a lot of us don't even realize it. So one of the things I want to go over in this blog post is why. Like, why are we still here, right? How did we even get here? And what you can do about it. I think that most of the people that are running around on the planet think that they're free. They think that they, have a life, they can do what they want, they can make decisions, they can go to work, they can make money, they can do all these things, but like, can you really? The whole idea of being free is that you don't have to do any of that stuff. And I think from where most of us are sitting, like we still are. So I have a couple questions for you to ask yourself, right? So number one, right? Do you decide when you go to work? Do you decide when you go to work? If you don't want to work, if you just want to stay home today, do you have the ability to stay home? You still make money. You don't even have to do anything, right? So that's question number one. Ask yourself, yes or no. Question number two, right? Are you in charge of how much you make? So if you said, hey, I want to work for 30 minutes and I want to make $300, or I want to work for a day and I want to make 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000, like, are you in charge of that? Do you actually have the ability to decide how much you charge, and will people pay it? Or are you stuck with you make X number of dollars for X number of hours when you come in, because that's what we've decided that you make, right? So yes or no, do you have the ability to charge whatever it is you want? And question number three, right? Do you get to decide where you want to be 1 year, 6 months, 3 months, 1 month from now? Like, do you decide that? Or or somebody else decide that? Are you on someone else's trajectory for your career, right? What do you fall into? So yes or no answers, right? And I'm sure some of you had some no's. I'm sure some of you are like, fuck no, I can't decide if I want to go to work today. Like, I have to go to work. If I call in sick, if I decide I'm not going to go, then I get fired. Like, I lose my job. It's not up to me if I decide today or that I want to do something. And then for a lot of you, you're going, no, I have a job where when I got hired, they told me how much money I was going to make. I didn't come in and say, hey, I want to make X number of dollars a month. How can we work this out? Right? I don't go in every day and say, you know what? Like, I think I can crush this particular gig, so I want this much money for it. A lot of people said no on that too. No, I don't decide how much money I make, right? And then the biggest one that I see is a lot of people aren't in control of where they're going to be next month in their job, where they're going to be 6 months from now in their job, where they're going to be a year, right, in their life. They're just not in control. So if you said no to those, then guess what? Newsflash, like, you're in captivity as well. Now, we don't think of it that way, of course. Like I said, right? We think we're in freedom. Like, we live in, the best time that is existing right now, but you're actually being held captive. Like, you're not in charge of your life. And because you're not in charge of your life, that means that you don't get to do what you want to do. That means you're not free. Sorry to break it to you, right? But you're not. The good part is, it's not your fault. It really isn't. We live in a society where that's the norm. Most people are having their lives ruled by other people, other things, corporations, jobs. Even if you just look at like our media and our advertising, like, you get ruled and told what decisions that you need to make based on billboards, based on what people want to sell you, right? So it's not your fault. The thing that is your fault is that you're still fucking here and you're not doing anything about it, right? So that's the thing I want to work on today. That's the part that, we're going to start getting into. So you're going to ask yourself a couple more questions, right? So question is, do you really want this? Right? I've asked you this before. It's the first thing I say to everyone. Do you really want it? Because goal setting isn't the same for everybody. I know that like out there people are talking about like they are like, do if you can do something for 21 days or 30 days, or they're like make a dream board, or there's some fucking nonsense flowchart bullshit that they're saying if you follow this then you're going to get your goals. It's not like that. It's not the same for everyone. There's several factors in it, and one of them is, do you really want it? Right? If you don't really want something and you have a strong why of why you want it, you're not going to get it. You're not going to go through all the difficulty that it is to get it. You know, and one of the things that is most prevalent in our society is people confuse the goals with just action steps. So they're like, oh yeah, I totally want to go to the gym, right? But the being healthy component, which is actually the goal is having a healthier, longer life. That's not just going to the gym. That's going to the gym, that's making sure you're getting enough sleep, that's taking care of your body, that's taking care of your mind, that's, right? There's all these components to it. And people are like, well, yeah, but I don't want to do that. I just want to go to the gym, right? So they confuse the action step with a goal. So you have to look at what the goal is. What's the end game? If the goal for you is the action step of just going to the gym, okay, cool, right? How will you know when you've ever achieved it? How will you know that you've ever achieved it? If your goal, right, is to go do something, to take an action step, right, then you've achieved it the first day you do it. So that's why goal setting, it's different. It's not the same for everybody. Right? But the one thing that is the same is you got to figure out what you want on like a basic cellular level, right? So goals are things like, I want to be happier. I want to have a better relationship with my friends. I want to, you know, be financially secure. It's not like I want to make $1 million. Like that's not a goal. That's a thing that you're going to do. What's it going to give you at the end of it? And the reason why people kind of cash out on some of these things early, right? They don't do them is because they're not attached to the outcome. Because it's not a goal. It's just an action step. You'll quit an action step. You won't quit on a goal, right? Not when it lines up. So first thing is, like, how bad do you want it? What's that why? Right? Why are you doing this? So I've mentioned to you before, for me, anytime I set, you know, a goal, anytime I have to take action steps, I have to tie my goal into the strongest thing for me, right? Which is my family, which is my daughter. Like if I can tie something into being about my daughter and it's going to benefit her and make her life better, like my chances of getting that just went up drastically, right? Like through the roof, they go up. Because that for me is a big one. Like that's strong. Like I tie something to that emotion, you know, and I'm not a very emotional person. I don't get emotional about nonsense, but I'm really emotional when it comes to that. When you see me talking about my daughter and the relationship we have and the things that we've gone through, like I always get all teary-eyed, you know, because it hits me that hard, right? So your why. So why do you want this? Like first and foremost, going after that, right? And figuring out what that is. Second, like where are you? You have to be really honest about where you are. Like if you're living in fear and anxiety every day that you can't pay your bills, going after, you know, making more money isn't going to really work out for you. You have to go after, I got to be okay first. I just have to get to where I'm not living in fear and anxiety. I'm just living in okay, right? You can't think about having Bentleys and mansions and, you know, Rolexes and vacations and like, I just got to get to okay. So the thing that people do is they don't then monitor where they are. They're not honest about where they are next, right? Because where you are, right, as a second step and being honest about that and really looking at that, that lets you know if the goal you're setting you're going to achieve or if you're going to totally fail. You know, you can't jump up a ladder all the way, right? You climb a ladder. You go up incrementally. So maybe you have a goal, being financially secure one day. Great, but like your micro goal has to be okay. If you're living in scarcity, if you're living in survival mode, right? Depends on where you are. So identifying where you are. Let's say one of your goals is you want to have better relationships with people. Okay, where am I now? What kind of relationships do I have now? Looking at yourself and saying, okay, well, I say I'm going to go places and I don't show up, right? I don't call people. I don't really reach out. I don't make time for them. My work is more important, right? Being realistic about that stuff. Before you can have better relationships with people, you have to stop doing the things that are making you have horrible relationships with people, right? So addressing where you are right now makes a huge difference in you being able to actually get to where you want to go. This is one of the biggest reasons why people set goals and then they quit. Like, they just stop midway because they're just like, well, that was really hard to get to. Because they didn't realize they were trying to go from 1 to like 7 million in like the 6 weeks they gave themselves to do it, or the 21 fucking days. Like, that's not going to happen, right? It's insanity. Insanity to think that you can set a goal without knowing where you are right now, right? And number 3 is you need to really look at how okay you are with failure. Because a lot of people out there fail constantly. Constantly. And I don't mean trying and failing like businesses and things. I mean, you're going to set a goal and you're totally okay with cashing in on it 6 weeks into the 90-day goal, or 2 days into the 1 week goal, or what, whatever it is. You're totally okay with cashing in on it and failing. You're fine. You're okay. Right? You can't be okay with failure. Like, failure cannot be an option for you. Don't even set the fucking goal. Just go about living your life. If you're okay with not reaching it, don't even write it down. Don't tell anybody else. Just go about your life until maybe you get it one day, right? What you do to your subconscious by failing is brutal. Brutal, man. That stuff builds up like a pile of trash and you can't get rid of it. Or it takes a really long time to reverse it. You have to think about something like, most people are going about their lives like this. You want to go like that. You start being okay with failure, you're like this. Do you know how hard it is to climb back out of that hole and then go up in the upswing? Like, it's a lot, right? So you can't be okay with failure. You're just wasting your time. You're wasting your time. You're wasting the time of every person around you. You're wasting the time of all the people who you ask to help you. Like, you're totally fine with it not working out. It's a waste of time. Don't do it. Right? So it's going to be work. It is work. I've said this all along. There is no magic pill. There's no easy way to get through this. It just isn't going to happen. Right? But make a list. Make a list of the things you really want in your life. If one of them is, I want to be happier, right? Make a list of that. And then what are those pieces that are underneath it that will make you happier, right? Use this criteria, right? Why do you want it? Get connected with that. Is that something you really feel strongly about, or is it something you're just doing for somebody else, or something that's going to look good on Instagram, or something that's going to be like great on your resume, or because your girlfriend wants it, or your parents, right? Like, are you connected with it? Does it get you emotional? Does it like really turn you on to get this thing? Then you have to look at it like, how hard is it going to be to get that thing from where I am right now? And am I willing to do the work? Right? Am I willing to do the work? Or do I need to make my goal a little bit smaller? If I'm expecting that I'm going to achieve this in my fucking limited attention span that I have, which is apparently 21 days, right? If I'm going to achieve that in the next 21 days, the next week, the next 90 days, the next 2 weeks, whatever it is, can I do it? Or is it too far? Am I asking too much of myself? Right? And then number 3, is failure an option? Is that an option to me? Is it an option to me that I can find something that I want, right? That I'm super into, hits me in all the right spots, that I know that I can achieve in the time frame that I'm setting up to do, right? And am I going to be okay if I don't get it? Because if you're going to be okay, you don't really want it. You're just lying to yourself. The things we go after are the ones that no one can stop us from getting, right? The things we get are the ones that no one can stop us from getting. And I want to be really clear on this. Every time you go after something and you don't get it, it's because you didn't go down the list of how bad do I want it? Can I actually get it? And am I cool if I fail? Right? That's the reason why. Okay, so make a list, right? Make a list of all these things you want. Vet them. And then let me know when you find one. Right? That's when we start having fun. Find something that you're really fucking into, that you know that you can get in the time frame, and you're like, there's no way in hell I'm gonna fail. That's when it begins, right? That's when you call me and you let me know. Then we start on it. As always, please subscribe. Send this to somebody you know who's doing it wrong, right? Needs a little bit of guidance. And let's get rich as fuck.